Hello, I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. Well, summer is a time when many people get outdoors, but a lot of activities going on. And today we're getting an update on activities tying into the Area Agency on Aging. And there's some big news this summer tying into that. New senior center coming to town. So we're going to find out about that as well as other topics. Joining me, Stan Heater and Stephanie Denham. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
I guess the big news of just recently is you actually broke ground on a new senior center.
That is our big news. We're really excited. You know, the planning process and the time it takes for the architects to draw it up, it just takes forever. And you almost just forget it. And then all of a sudden they say, okay, we're going to have a groundbreaking.
So now you're at that process of you're going to see something starting to happen.
Last week?
Yes.
It was very exciting.
Let's do a little background for viewers that, how this came about. Obviously, we had a tornado that caused some damage throughout the community, but you were able to get some support through the recovery funds to help build this.
Right, and Stephanie can probably tell you more about the damage we had because I wasn't at the area agency during the tornado, but what the city actually came to us and said, would you be interested in us building a new senior center? And we're like, well, yeah, we would be. And so that's kind of the process. And they did have some funds that were leftover tornado funds, and it had to be spent in a certain way on a certain population and a certain income base. And so our seniors fit perfectly into that scenario. So that's where we got started. But we did have damage at the old one too, and Stephanie could probably tell you that.
So you were a victim as well as many other people.
We had some damage to the building itself. Actually, the roof was kind of lifted up and then set back down. Unfortunately, there was, some structural damage, but the city got it fixed really quick. We were misplaced for a short time, but then we were into a much smaller building, which we learned that, you adjust.
Right.
But we made it. But we're really excited about the new building. It's going to be substantial amounts larger. All of our equipment's going to be easy to get to. Have more room for activities, the lunch program, so we're just really excited.
And that must have been an exciting part of the process to look at the features that you could start from scratch. What would you really like to have in a facility?
Yeah, well, in our case, some of our equipment is so old and outdated. Just the idea of getting
just what's inside the building,
new equipment, more efficient equipment, and we're just real excited. We're just real excited.
So ground is broken. What is your anticipated timetable for completing this?
They said about a 10-month build out. Okay. So if that's accurate, which you never know because weather has a lot to do with that. We could be looking at May, maybe next year.
So have a spring.
Yeah, sometime in the spring, probably next year.
And for people who aren't familiar with the location, I haven't even mentioned that for people. Where will you be at the new location?
We'll be at 26th and Pitcher, which is not that far from our existing facilities. So it'll be same neighborhood, same area, so easy to get to.
Great.
One of the things we're most excited about is it's directly east of the new Mercy Park. The park with the two fountains on 26th Street. And so that entire side of the building will be windows. And it'll face the park.
So a big open space behind you.
Not only will we have a beautiful view of the park, but also, we'll have access to the trail. So the seniors, if they want to, can go walk the trail and just enjoy that park.
So more opportunities maybe for different activities that you weren't able to do in the current location.
Yes. And we're trying to get our younger seniors in. So the idea that we'll have activities going inside the senior center and then the ability to go outside to the park and use the walking trail. All very exciting for us.
Great. Now we keep using the word senior, and for somebody who tunes in and say, well, what's the definition of senior? We say, Area Agency on Aging, serving the senior citizens. The age cutoff. How do you determine someone as a senior?
Our program through the Area Agency on Aging is anyone 60 years of age or older.
Okay.
Or their spouse or caregiver.
Now I know I've read that that's some of the fastest growing population. Are you seeing that through your services? That
Yes.
the baby boomers are getting older. You're getting more people in that time.
Yes.
The baby boomers' golden years. So, and we've known for years and years and years that was going to be a major stressor on all of the social programs that serve seniors. Once we got to the point where, I say we because I'm one, once we get to the point where the baby boomers are retiring, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing much more demand on services with really no more funding.
So you're facing those challenges. How can I continue to provide those services for people? And so forth.
We just got our fiscal year in just ended for last year, and we've seen an increase of over 1,200 meals a month on just the homebound meal program. So
that's one piece of what you're doing.
Those seniors, the baby boomers are coming, and we're seeing it already.
Well, Stan, people are probably curious as far as how is the operation funded? Where does the money come from to run the agency?
It's primarily federal money that comes to us through the state of Missouri.
Okay.
And we do get some general revenue funds from the state also. We get program income when people donate if they choose to. What am I forgetting, Steph? I know I'm forgetting
Client
something.
contributions, local businesses. We have many businesses that help us out.
You have fundraisers to help you locally?
Yes.
We'll
So
write grants. There's a few grants around that we're able to write for, and we always write for those. And some of the businesses in town have been very, very generous over the years.
Well, I know you do a lot of different things through the agency, and
Yes,
so
we
we'll talk
do.
about some of those in this half hour, maybe awareness for people or reminding them, or, as you say, a lot of people are getting older into that age group of what's coming up.
Right.
With the senior center, you mentioned the meals. Let's talk about that aspect, because we've heard of Meals on Wheels, Meals at the Center, growing demand for that. So you have to have more volunteers, I guess, probably to help you deliver those meals.
Right.
there is a demand for volunteers in our senior centers. Like I said, we're increasing those homebound meals. So inside the city limits is strictly volunteers. So unfortunately, what we have now is a group of volunteers that are very, very good. But some of them are aging as well.
So you have seniors helping
So
seniors.
we have many seniors that, yes, so we're looking for younger volunteers to come in.
Well, what's involved in, you say, volunteering to deliver meals? Paint a picture for somebody. If you say, well, maybe I can help one day a week. Is it okay to say I can only help one day a week to do that?
Yes, we have several that do only one day a week, or what we call sub or call in. If somebody gets sick or unable to do it, then we call in one of those subs. It takes about an hour to hour and a half a day on most routes. It's usually from around 10:15 in the morning till about noon. Most of them are in and out, so
they come to the center, they pick up the meals.
everything that they need. Go to each different route has a different area of the town. We deliver anywhere from 10 to 20 people on a route.
Okay.
So
they have a set route. They know where they're going. There's a planned stop.
Yeah, and it's in all in one vicinity.
Right.
So it's really fun to go to their homes. It's very rewarding to be a volunteer.
Imagine that'd be a fun activity for people to kind of pair up and do it too. You've got a driver and then somebody else to
We
run.
do
and-
encourage pairs because it's just easier. One driver, one what we call a runner. Much easier, and it's like very rewarding to be a volunteer.
For the people receiving the services, is there a charge for these meals, or how do you handle the
We do not
costs?
have a charge per se. We have a recommended donation of $3.50 a meal, but no eligible client is denied a meal due to the inability to pay.
And what makes them eligible? What are you looking at as far as quality?
60 years and older, homebound, or unable to prepare their own meals.
Okay, so a lot of
Pretty
possibilities
lenient,
there.
yes, pretty lenient guidelines.
Carrying that through. And
The most difficult thing my friends tell me about delivering meals is being able to get out of the home and go to the next
They'd like to visit.
because they want to talk.
That's
That may be the only person they see all day. So, they want to chit chat, and
Right.
they do for a certain time.
that's
There comes a point where you have to say, okay, I've got to go to the next.
Mr. Smith down the street needs food
Exactly.
too. Right.
But on
Mrs.
the-
Smith's hungry.
the clients, that might be who they see the only person that day. That's also a wellness check. Our drivers are also a set of eyes to make sure our client is okay and feeling all right, and
Yeah, I can see how it can make their
serves
day.
many
The doorbell
purposes.
rings, it's that time, I have food, I have someone to visit me
Yes.
and tying together and serving that area. So the meals that you're delivering, but you also still have meals at centers as well?
we do have the congregate sites, and they have the dinner served at 11:30. But they also have many other activities at the senior centers. They have exercise programs, card games, dominoes. The Joplin Center has a billiard room, so many people are in there shooting pool. We have yoga classes, exercise classes, a variety of different things to do.
So there's more than just eat at the senior
We
center.
do more than just eat, yes.
So as you were designing the new building, were you coming up with new ideas? You mentioned the walking trail, but what else can we do in a building that we're not doing now?
Well, we were actually, and it's funny because a lot of the things we do now, they just have to be done within the confines of that large room where we are at the senior center. Now, there's no specific place where we can do wellness checks, or where nurses from Missouri Southern can come in and do blood pressure checks and things like that. So this one, we said, okay, we want a health and wellness room. We want an exercise room.
A
We
little
want-
privacy in those
Yeah,
rooms, right?
And
Exactly.
that's the way we designed it. And we told the architect that we wanted to be as flexible as possible. We wanted the space to be as flexible as possible, and that's what they've given us. They've given us one big room, but it's divided with a wall that moves, so that we can have. Most days, the congregate lunch will
Big
be
open
in a
room for
smaller
everybody.
Yeah,
Correct.
but we can open it up for dances, for example, or other activities. But yeah, we have, and you know, there's a lot of things we want to do that we may not exactly have the money for right now, but at least we'll have the space.
You've got the space when you can do it. Now, I know you rely on volunteers for delivering the meals. You rely on volunteers to provide a lot of the services that you're doing as well beyond the meals and programs. You mentioned the exercise classes and so forth and things like that.
Right. I would say probably more paid staff in most of those, but there are volunteers in basically every program to a small degree.
To a small degree, yes. Exercise is led by volunteers. Most of the people that come and do like blood pressure checks or the MSSU students, those persons come in on their time and help us out. So we have many activities and lots of ways to volunteer and help.
So if somebody is watching and says, well, I can't deliver meals, but maybe I could do something at the center or at, you know.
Absolutely. Please contact us.
Right.
Now we're talking about the center. What about your office location?
Well, our office location is over on 15th and Missouri. It used to be the red roof, now it's a blue roof. So, and it's a great space for us. It pretty much fulfills our needs over there. People ask me, well, where are you going to put your offices over at the new senior center? Like, no, there's really no reason to, because where we are is just about perfect for
Good central
our needs.
location for the community. And so forth.
Right. We've got maybe one extra office right now if we needed to
We could
add a
explain.
person. So we're pretty comfortable over there.
So let's talk about the services at the office. You know, if people come in, there's a lot of resources available. What can someone find if they walk in the door at the office and say, hi, you know, what do you have for me?
Okay, well, not only do we have the nutrition programs, we also have other programs such as homemaker, respite care. We have INA, information and assistance. Somebody needs some help, they'll come to our office and we can guide them in a direction to get help, for instance, with the Medicare assistance or the RX program, or if they just need questions asked on how do I change insurance, it's time to do that and I don't know who to call. So we have places we can give them, you know, to help them with resources. If assistive devices, like if someone's got a family member that may have had a recent illness, we can refer them on to companies like Independent Living to get assistive devices like shower chairs or walkers.
So you have contacts in the community.
We
You're
have
working
lots
with
of
lots of
contacts,
agencies.
and we all work together, so that's very important.
Right.
Yeah, even legal aid, we'll refer people over to Legal Aid Southwest Missouri for relatively minor, simple type law questions. But yeah, we do a lot out of that office, a surprising amount actually out of that office.
So if someone is, maybe they have senior parents, or as you mentioned, the baby boomers are getting older and they wonder, well, just what's out there, or I have questions on my father or mother needing some assistance now. They live alone. You know, what do I need to do? They can get those questions answered there.
Call us or come by and we will get you pointed in the right direction.
They have a small computer lab there where people can come in, get on the internet if they don't have it at home, and do whatever they need to do.
Are you finding more of the society has changed where you don't necessarily have the family close by? You may have seniors living here, but kids have grown out.
More and more. We used to always stay in our area, the family and their kids, but now the kids aren't staying.
Kids
in
move out of
Joplin,
town and go somewhere else to work.
And
They do.
now we're finding that clients call us and they'll say, you know, I need help because now my family not only live just in a short distance away, now they live multiple states away.
Right.
So they have no one to turn to, so they'll call us, turn to us.
So if somebody wants to remain independent in their home, you know, single or a spouse, couple even, but they may be facing challenges of keeping up the house, or, you know, what do I need for maintenance type challenges, you can help give them referrals to help them with those little things like that around the house.
Right. The services we don't provide, in almost every case, we can at least refer them to somebody.
So there's a lot of people may call you and say, you know, mom and dad are living there by themselves, but I know they need some help because the window screen's broken or something like that.
So we can point them.
I personally, most of the calls that I get, in a lot of cases, are people that I know that they know what I do, but they'll call and their questions will be, you know, mom or dad or both are getting to that age. We need to be looking at nursing homes. What can you tell us?
Right.
How can we pay for it? What are good ones? What are not good ones? Which obviously I really normally can't answer but I can steer them into places where they can get the answer. Or questions about Social Security, Medicare, because they're getting to that age.
And those are topics we hear on the news every day, the Social Security, the Medicare,
Continuously,
you mentioned
yes.
the RX program. People hear those stories, imagine the phone rings the next day when there's a story on the news.
Multiple calls.
Well, our waiting room is the busiest from that mid-October to mid-December period of time when they can go in and they can sign up for
The
different,
Medicare programs.
different Medicare options,
Yes.
and that people come in, and they should come in every year because things change. Their medications change. You know, a lot of different things may change. Plans may change. So it's smart for them to come in and let our person in the office do a quick review.
So you have someone on your staff who specializes in that
Yes, we
information
do.
for them.
She's
They're not
very
on
good.
their own.
Yes.
She's very good.
Well, the recent changes we've heard about, you know, state funding and budget cuts and so forth has affected everybody. I mean, we're at a university that's affected.
Yes.
Imagine
Right.
it's affected your agency as well.
It has to a certain extent. We've had a small reduction in our Medicaid meals because we do. Someone may get their Medicaid assessment and they have to have meals.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the things
Request.
that's on the assessment. Well, we get reimbursed a certain amount from the state on that money. Well, that's been reduced a little bit, but most of the cuts and decision items aren't things that affected us, but they affected the seniors, like the Missouri RX cut, like you know, some of the potential cuts to Medicaid, things like that.
Now, the Missouri RX, for someone who's watching, well, what does that, I mean, how do you simplify in explaining what that involves?
Well, it's neither one of our expertise.
But, you know, they say, well, what's that?
But what it does is it helps people pay the deductible and the copay on medications if they qualify. Well, and the program is pretty much always, since its inception, has pretty much included Medicare and Medicaid folks. What the legislature and the governor did was they cut that back to say it's only dual eligibles. It's only people that are both Medicaid and Medicare
For both programs.
eligible.
Right.
So that cut out about 60,000 Missourians from being able to get that help. And if you take a lot of medications, that could amount up to a lot of money over the course of a year.
Yeah.
So people are just now realizing what happened. And I mean, our phone just lit up the day that it started, which
Became a
was
state
July 1st.
July
I
1st,
believe.
the new fiscal year
Yeah.
Oh
kicked
my
in.
gosh, there
Panic,
was
yeah,
one
everyone
phone call
panicked.
after the next.
I have to have these medications. How can I pay for them? What do I
and
do?
Exactly.
many of the seniors that we have are on medications that are very costly. So they're on a fixed income already, and now they're going to be paying triple the amount of their medicines. It's a big concern to our seniors. So rightfully so.
Right. So do you, as a director, officer, keep in touch with lawmakers, legislature? I mean, is there an organization of agencies that
I
let
go
them
to
know?
Jeff City once a month, whether I want to or not, and make that drive up. But yeah, there's 10 area agencies on aging in the state, and the 10 directors and our association president meet in Jeff City every month, and we meet with the state part of one day with the Division of Health and Senior Services folks, and then the next day we're just talking about topics that kind of all of us deal with every day.
Right. Share what you're encountering and how it's
Yes.
happening.
Right.
So,
So yeah, we do, and there's certain times of the year when they're up, the legislatures are up there, that we may go in and do visits and at least let them know what bills we're interested in.
Right.
We can't really lobby as such, but we can let them know that, hey, here's something that you might want to look at.
this is on our radar. We're
We can
watching it.
inform, and we
Inform
do.
them about it. If questions, we'll help answer those. And so,
Yes.
so the concerns of Southwest Missouri, the Joplin region, might mirror those in St. Louis or Kansas City, a much larger metro region.
They do sometimes, and sometimes they're very, very much different. And that's what is kind of interesting for us to be at the meetings, because we have two St. Louis people, one in St. Louis City, one in St. Louis counties,
Okay.
the ones around. And we have Kansas City folks, Springfield, and Columbia. And so it's interesting sometimes to see. And we're not necessarily we're the smallest, I think,
We are the smallest region.
right, region as far as funding. But you know, we have rural mostly, but Joplin can't really be considered rural, I don't think.
So
anymore.
Joplin falls in that classification as a smaller rural community.
Correct.
Yes.
Right. So,
Right.
so how
We're
many
not-
counties do you actually serve when someone looks at a map of Southwest
We actually
Missouri?
serve 4 counties: Barton, Newton, Jasper, and McDonald.
So just right up and down the state
Right in the
line.
corner.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know our viewership goes beyond those counties. So if somebody's watching and they live further to the east or something, there's another agency that
Be
serves them.
Springfield.
Springfield
Yes.
reaches out through their area. So I want to make sure they know who to call if they have questions and
Right.
tying that together. So do you have other opportunities for seniors to take like classes or self-improvement? You mentioned using the computers or things like that. If somebody comes in and wants to...
At this time, we have no classes for the computers, but we do have them available for anyone to use.
Okay.
And we always have staff on
And
site.
show them
that
how to do things.
If they need assistance, then somebody's always willing to go over and help them with something.
The exercise classes are the ones that tend to be pretty popular. You know, whether it's Tai Chi or just a regular exercise class. And one of the things that I'm interested in, primarily because it's affected me and my family, is fall prevention. And that takes money.
Takes money, yes.
You know, to get the person in to do the training, maybe to have a staff person that goes around and does the, like Matter of Balance is one class that we'd like to teach, but it takes money to be able to have that person on staff and to be able to go out and actually teach the classes.
So are these classes where people would come to the center, or
They would probably be at the
thing?
center. We could do them at the central office, but chances are we'd do them at the centers.
Yeah. So, and that, you mentioned falls. There's a lot of health concerns, and that's something I know we hear a lot about with seniors. As you get older, your mobility, suffers, and being able to get around. So.
And it's not only exercises to help them walk, but it might be even to the point of how to fall-proof your home. You know, things like that people don't necessarily think about. Well,
So,
Grandma, this rug is, frayed and probably is not good, or, this is in the way, or that cord goes across the place where you walk, things like that.
That throw rug you say we need to wipe our feet on in the door is actually a slipping hazard or something like that.
Or something just as easy as putting lights in the hallway. At night, as seniors tend to get up at nighttime, no lights, they fall. There's nothing to grab hold of because there's nothing that they can see. So, we try to educate them on many things.
So educational efforts, and as people are getting older, they realize their eyesight changes, their hearing changes, their mobility. How do you adapt to these changes? A lot of times for people.
Right. And I've watched that with my mom, and it's been quite an education. And it makes me more sympathetic to what people go through.
And family-wise support. I mean, you're dealing with the people who are going through these changes, but do you provide support or information for the families? It may not be the older parent who calls you, but maybe a family member who calls.
Many times it's the family members that they just have no idea who to reach out to, so that they'll call us and we'll be the first person. And a lot of times they'll just flat out say, I don't know what to do.
Right.
So point them in a direction, we'll give them the help that we can, and everybody has tried to take care of the best we can.
And we're hearing more and more about what they call the sandwich generation, the people who have, kids maybe are getting out of the house, but now they have to take care of an older parent. Are you seeing that as well through your experiences?
And Stephanie always she and I talk, because we've both been in the situation where we're the local kids. And, and the siblings live in wherever. And so, when issues come up, we have to deal with them.
Just deal with it is the answer. You take care of it. So
you're there, you take care of it.
So you end up being the one taking them to the doctor, running to the grocery store, helping around the house. And so
and people that aren't a caregiver really have no idea how intense that can be. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy. And, unfortunately, like Stan said, we both of our
encountered
parents,
it, right?
You have to sometimes you take the older, your parents to the doctors. My mom was real bad. She had horrible hearing, and so instance they would say something about her health, and she would answer a question to what she thought she was answering.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And then she'd come home with medicine for something, and wasn't exactly what she needed
so
at
you're
all.
that second set of ears sitting there at the doctor's office.
So you learn that you have to send someone many times. So, so we're here to help.
Great. So you do provide resources then for those potential caregivers, so people, here's information to help you prepare for this.
And one of our programs, Stephanie mentioned the respite program, that's what's so important about that, because, neither one of us, thank God, were in the situation where we had 24/7, care that we had to do for our parents. But people do, and they need time away, whether it's just to go shop, just get away,
just have a day to
go to the
themselves.
movies, and we do have that. We do offer that service for 2 or 3, 4 hours a day. Maybe we can have somebody come in and give them respite and let them get out and do something.
Great. So these are people who are willing to give their time to help somebody else
Correct.
their time. Well, information. I know you walk in and get information, but do you have a phone number people can call if they're watching and say, I want to call them to get some information? What's the best way to reach you?
781-7562, 417, of course.
Right.
That's our central office, and that's a good place to start. Sometimes if it's a meal situation, we may refer them out to the person that's actually in that senior center, because we have 7 senior centers
throughout the region, right?
in those 4 counties, if I can remember them all. Lamar, Carthage, Webb City, Carl Junction, Joplin, Neosho, and Knoll.
Okay, so right up
did
and down
good.
the major city.
You did well.
And of
I have
course
to do them on my fingers.
count them as you're going to say them. And then you also have a website and a Facebook page for information.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
And so do you update the activities? I guess if somebody wants to know what's going to be the meal tomorrow, they can find that on your website?
Yes, they can, and it's just aaaregionx.org.
And so by looking at they've put it up on the screen for us, kind of just so you can see the current
Oh, there you
events,
go.
information that you can follow up, and you have the Facebook as well. Are you finding more and more of the seniors, as the baby boomers get older, they're using that media, social media?
I think so. And Allison in our office is really good at keeping up with our Facebook page and whatnot, and with our the other page.
With the Facebook and the regular website.
And
web
it is the
page.
younger seniors. Some of
Yes.
our older seniors don't have any desire to learn it, but the younger seniors are coming on, getting that information and calling us. So that's good.
Is that going to be something you see you adapt in the future, as the baby boomers that may have had some technology experience or more savvy about that are going to be a different approach to dealing with them versus the older seniors?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
I think so.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, they're more comfortable, with computers, with technology and whatnot. So, very much so.
So opportunities for people to help out. We mentioned volunteers. If people want to contact you to volunteer, funding opportunities. You have fundraisers, ways that they can financially help you out as well.
We have fundraisers within the centers. We have fundraisers with our main fundraiser is the Grapes and Grog,
Right.
which we'll be having in October. And we have all kinds of ways that you can help out. We have people that will just send in donations to help with their parents or their neighbors. Just give us a call. We'll help you.
Help them. Great.
And I think on our webpage there's a donate button,
button.
where they can either donate PayPal, or I believe now they can also do credit card if they want to.
So directly.
The Grapes and Grogs, October 14th. This year I think it'll be at the Wilders Event Center, which used to be the Bypass.
Right.
And it's really as far as our agency, it's our only really big fundraiser
The big
of the
main
year.
fundraiser.
Yes.
Right, and it'll be fun. There's appetizers and craft beer and just a lot of fun things going on. A good band, Big Smitty, I think, is going to play for us this year. But that's the money that we can do the extra things with.
So that's a way for the community as a whole, people of all
To
ages to
support
come
us,
out and help
yes.
you support and do the programs and
Correct.
so forth. So a lot of things that are happening. I'd like to thank you both for being here today and providing this information. There's, like I said, a lot of resources available, wanting to make the community aware of these resources, and I'm sure a lot of people looking forward to that new center opening up next summer
yeah.
as
Yes,
well.
very
So-
excited.
And we'll follow up on that when it opens, and let people know what you have to offer there as well.
Thank you so much for having
I'm
us.
sure we'll have a grand opening.
Great. Well, thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'd like to thank you, the viewers, for joining us this week on Newsmakers. I'm Judy Stiles. I hope you can join us again next week at the same time on this station. We'll see you then.